Captain Lee Hyun stood on the bridge of the UES Resilience, watching the stars through the main screen. His ship had been traveling through empty space for 3 weeks now, mapping new star systems for the Human Defense Corps. It was quiet work, but Lee Hyun liked it that way. The galaxy was a big place, and humans were still new to most of it. The Resilience was not a big ship. It carried only 40 people and was built for exploring, not fighting. Lee Hyun had been its captain for 5 years. In that time, they had found 12 new planets and made contact with 2 friendly alien species. Not bad work for a small crew from Earth. Dr. Park Mina looked up from her station near the back of the bridge. She was the ship's expert on alien life and languages. Her job was to talk to any new species they met and make sure everyone stayed friendly. "Captain, I'm getting something strange on the long-range sensors." Lee Hyun walked over to her station. The screen showed waves of energy coming from a star system about 2 light years away. "What kind of strange?" "It looks like a distress signal, but it's not using any format we know. The pattern keeps repeating every 30 seconds. Park Mina typed quickly on her keyboard. "I think someone is calling for help." Ensign Choi Bin turned from his navigation station. He was young, only 23, but good at his job. "Captain, that system is listed as Villani space. They're one of the peaceful species the Galactic Council told us about." Lee Hyun nodded. The Villani were plant-eaters who had never fought a war in their entire history. They spent their time growing things and making medicine from plants. Most humans thought they were nice but too trusting for their own good. "Can we reach them in 12 hours? "Yes, sir, if we push the engines a little." "Do it." Lee Hyun turned back to Park Mina. "Keep working on that signal. If someone needs help, we should at least listen." The next few hours passed slowly. Park Mina worked with the ship's computer to decode the alien message. It was hard work because the Villani used sounds and music instead of words like humans did. Finally, just as they reached the edge of the Villani system, she got it working. The voice that came through the speakers was high and musical, but the fear in it was clear. Park Mina translated as it played. "This is Prime Coordinator Lila of the Villani. Our world is under attack. The Korthak Empire has come with many ships. They demand we surrender and join their empire. We cannot fight them. We do not know how to fight anyone. Please, if anyone can hear this, we need help. We will give anything we have to anyone who can save our people." Lee Hyun felt his jaw tighten. The Korthak were bad news. They were a warrior species who took over peaceful worlds and made the people there into slaves. The Galactic Council had been complaining about them for years, but never did anything to stop them. "There's more, Captain," Park Mina said. She played the rest of the message. "We have heard stories about the humans. They say you come from a death world and know how to fight. If this is true, please help us. We will share all our knowledge of healing plants and medicine. Our children are scared. Please come." The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. The Villani had heard about Earth and how dangerous humans could be in a fight. Most aliens thought humans were scary because Earth was such a hard place to live. High gravity, dangerous weather, poisonous plants, and deadly animals had made humans tough. What the aliens didn't know was that all that danger had also made humans very good at war. "Ensign Choi, how long to reach their planet?" Lee Hyun asked. 4 hours at full speed, sir." "Take us there, but keep us hidden. I want to see what we're dealing with before they see us." Lee Hyun pressed a button on his chair. "All hands, this is the captain. We have a situation. A peaceful Species is under attack and has asked for our help. I'm calling Admiral Kim Tae for orders, but everyone should be ready for anything." Lee Hyun went to his ready room and started a secure call to Earth. It took 20 minutes for the signal to reach Admiral Kim Tae at Human Defense Corps headquarters. The Admiral was a tough woman in her 60s who had fought in the border wars before humans joined the Galactic Council. When her face appeared on the screen, Admiral Kim Tae looked tired. "Captain Lee, what's your situation?" Lee Hyun quickly explained about the Vellani distress call and the Korthak attack. Admiral Kim Tae listened without speaking, but he could see her getting angry. "Captain, this is not the first call we've gotten like this. 3 other species have asked us for help in the last month. The Galactic Council keeps talking about peace and negotiations while innocent people die." Admiral Kim Tae leaned forward. "I'm going to tell you something that's classified. We've been preparing for this day. The day when someone would finally ask the humans to do what we do best." "Sir?" "Captain, I want you to get close to that planet and see exactly what the Korthak are doing. Count their ships, learn their weapons, find their weak spots. Send me everything you learn, and Captain?" "Yes, Admiral. Tell the Vellani that help is coming. Tell them the humans are coming." Admiral Kim Tae's smile was not friendly. "It's time the galaxy remembered why they call us Deathworlders." The call ended, leaving Lee Hyun staring at a blank screen. He had known this day would come eventually. Humans had been part of the Galactic Council for 50 years, but they had always been treated like dangerous outsiders. Most aliens were afraid of them because of stories about Earth and human history. Wars, violence, competition, survival of the fittest. These were human ideas that peaceful aliens could not understand. But now someone needed that human nature. Someone needed humans to be the dangerous Deathworlders everyone said they were. Lee Hyun returned to the bridge. "Dr. Park, send a message to the Vellani. Tell them we received their call and help is coming. Tell them to stay strong." "Yes, Captain." "Ensign, Choi, take us into the system, but keep us behind that moon. I want to see these Korthak ships before they see us." As the Resilience moved deeper into Vellani space, Lee Hyun thought about what was coming. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when peaceful aliens called for help, and humans answered. It was about to learn what humans could do when someone threatened innocent people. The Korthak had no idea what they had started, but they were about to find out why humans were called Deathworlders, and why that was exactly what the galaxy needed right now. The Resilience moved quietly through the shadow of Vellani Prime's largest moon. Captain Lee Hyun watched the main screen as their sensors showed what was happening to the peaceful world below. What he saw made his hands form fists. 12 large Korthak warships hung in orbit around the green planet. Each ship was twice the size of the Resilience and covered in thick armor plates. They looked like floating fortresses built for smashing things, not exploring. Smaller ships moved between them like angry insects, carrying troops and supplies down to the planet's surface. "Dr. Park, what are you seeing down there?" Lee Hyun asked. Park Mina's face was pale as she studied her readings. "The Korthak have taken control of all the major cities. They're forcing the Vellani people into large camps outside the cities. From what I can tell, they're making the Vellani work in their own factories, probably building weapons and ships for the Korthak Empire." Ensign Choi Bin pointed at his navigation screen. "Captain, I'm seeing landing zones here, here, and here. The Korthak have at least 3,000 troops on the ground, maybe more." Lee Hyun studied the tactical display. The Korthak were doing exactly what they always did: Slow, heavy attacks that broke the will of peaceful species. They surrounded cities, cut off food and power, and waited for surrender. It worked against species that had never learned to fight. But humans knew something about fighting that the Korthak had forgotten. Speed and surprise could beat size and armor. "Captain, incoming message from the planet," Park Mina said. "It's from the Villani leadership." The screen filled with the image of a tall, thin alien covered in green skin that looked like bark. Large yellow eyes showed fear and hope at the same time. When it spoke, its voice was like wind through leaves. "Human ship, this is Prime Coordinator Lila. We detected your ship near our moon. Please, we need your help." The Korthak came 5 days ago. They said we must join their empire or they will destroy our world. We tried to negotiate, but they only understand force. Our people are suffering. Many are sick from being forced to work in factories. Please tell us you can help." Lee Hyun stepped forward. "Prime Coordinator, this is Captain Lee Hyun of the human ship Resilience. We received your distress call. Help is coming, but I need information. How many of your people are in the camps? Do you have any way to communicate with them?" "Captain, nearly all our people are prisoners now. Almost 50 million Villani. We can still reach some through our plant communication networks, but the Korthak are cutting down the connection trees. Every day, soon we will have no way to coordinate." Lila's bark-like skin seemed to darken with worry. "Captain, we must tell you something. We have never fought a war. We do not understand weapons or tactics or anything about military force. We grow things and heal things. That is all we know." "That's all right, Prime Coordinator. That's what we're for." Lee Hyun's voice was calm and strong. "I need you to stay hidden and keep your people safe. My government is sending a fleet to help you, but it will take some time. Can your people hold on for a few more days?" "We will try, Captain. But the Korthak are not patient. Their war leader Vex has said that if we do not agree to join their empire in 3 days, they will start killing 10,000 of us every day until we surrender." The bridge of the Resilience went silent. Even for humans, who had seen the worst of what intelligent species could do to each other, this was hard to hear. "Prime Coordinator, that will not happen. I promise you that." Lee Hyun's voice carried, a tone that made everyone on his bridge stand a little straighter. "Keep your people safe and wait for us." After the call ended, Lee Hyun called his senior officers to the meeting room. Along with Park Mina and Choi Bin, he was joined by Chief Engineer Bae Soo and Security Chief Nam Jun. They were good people who had served with him for years. Now he needed them to help plan something none of them had ever done before. "All right, people, here's the situation," Lee Hyun began. "Admiral Kim Tae is sending a fleet, but it will take 4 days to get here. The Korthak are giving the Villani 3 days to surrender. That means we need to slow them down somehow." Chief Engineer Bae Soo, a quiet man who knew everything about how ships worked, spoke first. "Captain, we could sabotage their supply ships. The Korthak are bringing food and equipment down from orbit. If we can damage a few of those ships, it might buy us time." Security Chief Nam Jun shook his head. "Sir, we're one small ship against 12 large warships. If they catch us, they'll destroy us, and then take their anger out on the Villani. We need to be smarter than that." Dr. Park Mina had been studying data from the planet's surface. "Captain, I think I have an idea. The Villani have an amazing communication system using their plants. They can send messages instantly across their entire planet through root networks and chemical signals. If we could help them coordinate their resistance, they might be able to slow down the Korthak operations." Resistance? Ensign Choi Bin looked confused. Dr. Park, the Villani are pacifists. They don't know how to fight. They don't need to fight, Park Mina explained. They need to not cooperate. The Korthak need the Villani to work in the factories and follow orders. If the Villani suddenly become very bad at their jobs, very slow, very forgetful, the Korthak schedule gets delayed. Lee Hyun smiled for the first time since they had entered the system. Passive resistance. Make the Korthak work harder for everything they want. Dr. Park, can you teach them how to do this without getting caught? I think so, Captain. The Villani are very intelligent. They just need to learn that there are ways to fight back without violence. Chief Engineer Bae Soo had been quiet, but now he spoke up. Captain, there's something else we could do. I've been studying the Korthak ships. They're built for fighting other warships, not for dealing with small, fast targets. If I could modify our shuttle to look like a Korthak supply ship, we might be able to get close enough to plant some surprises. What kind of surprises? Lee Hyun asked. Computer viruses, communication jammers, maybe even some small explosives on their sensor arrays. Nothing that would hurt anyone, but enough to cause confusion and delays. Security Chief Nam Jun nodded, slowly. It's risky, but it could work. The Korthak are arrogant. They probably think no one would dare attack them. Lee Hyun looked around the table at his officers. These were good people who had signed up for exploration and peaceful contact with aliens. Now he was asking them to risk their lives in a military operation against a species known for its cruelty. But he could see in their faces that they understood what was at stake. All right. Here's what we're going to do, Lee Hyun decided. Dr. Park, start teaching the Villani about passive resistance. Chief Bae, begin modifying the shuttle. Security Chief, Nam, I want you to study every piece of data we have about Korthak tactics and weapons. Ensign Choi, monitor all communications. I want to know everything the Korthak are doing. As his officers left to begin their work, Lee Hyun remained in the meeting room. He opened a secure channel to Admiral Kim Tae and sent a detailed report about the situation. He also sent tactical data about the Korthak ships and their positions. The reply came back faster than he expected. Admiral Kim Tae's face appeared on the screen, and she was smiling. Captain Lee, excellent work. I'm forwarding your data to the fleet. They're pushing hard to reach you in time. Admiral, how big is this fleet? Lee Hyun asked. Captain, you're about to see what happens when humans go to war for the first time in 50 years. The Liberation Fleet consists of 47 ships, including 5 heavy battleships and 12 carrier ships. We're bringing 8,000 Marines and enough firepower to take on anything the Korthak can send against us. Lee Hyun felt his breath catch. Admiral, that's an invasion force. No, Captain, that's a liberation force. There's a difference, and the galaxy is about to learn what that difference means. Admiral Kim Tae's expression became serious. Captain, your job is to keep those Villani alive until we get there. Do whatever you have to do. The eyes of the galaxy are on us now. Let's show them what humans do when innocent people call for help. As the call ended, Lee Hyun realized that everything was about to change. For 50 years, humans had been the quiet newcomers to galactic civilization. They had followed the rules, kept the peace, and tried to fit in with species that would always see them as dangerous outsiders. But now someone had asked the humans to be exactly what everyone said they were: dangerous. And the Korthak Empire was about to learn why that was exactly what the galaxy needed. The space around Volani Prime erupted in flashes of light as the human liberation fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Captain Lee Hyun watched from the bridge of the Resilience as ship after ship appeared on his sensors. He had seen human military vessels before, but never like this. Never all together, never ready for war. The fleet was spread across 3 formation groups. The first group consisted of 5 massive battleships, each one longer than a city block and bristling with weapons. The second group held 12 carrier ships, their launch bays already opening to release swarms of fighter craft. The third group contained 30 support ships, destroyers, cruisers, and supply vessels that moved with deadly purpose. Admiral Kim Tae's voice came over the communication system, broadcasting to every ship in the fleet. All vessels, this is Admiral Kim Tae, aboard the UES Indomitable. We are here because innocent people called for help and we answered. The Korthak Empire has held this world for 8 days. Their occupation ends now. On the surface of Volani Prime, Coordinator Lila pressed herself against the communication tree in her hidden grove. The chemical signals from plants across the planet brought her information from 50 million Volani prisoners. The humans had taught her people well in the past 4 days. Passive resistance was working. Factory production had slowed to almost nothing. Transport systems mysteriously broke down. Computer networks developed strange errors. The Korthak were becoming angry and confused. War leader Vex stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Bloodfang, staring at the human fleet with disbelief. 12 Korthak warships against 47 human vessels. He had expected the humans to send maybe 3 or 4 ships, just enough to make them feel better about helping. This was something else entirely. Communications. Send a message to the human fleet, Vex ordered. His voice was a low growl that made his bridge crew nervous. Tell them they are interfering with legal Korthak expansion. Tell them to leave immediately or face the consequences. The reply came back in 30 seconds. A human female's voice, calm and cold. War Leader Vex, this is Admiral Kim Tae of the Human Liberation Fleet. You are ordered to surrender immediately and release all Volani prisoners. You have 5 minutes to begin evacuation of your forces. This is your only warning. Vex laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through his ship. 5 minutes? Who do these humans think they are? All ships, attack formation. We will crush these Deathworlders and show the galaxy that the Korthak Empire fears no one. The space battle began with violence that shocked both sides. The Korthak ships moved forward in a tight formation, the way they always fought. Slow, steady, relying on heavy armor and big guns to smash through enemy defenses. It had worked against every species they had ever fought. But humans fought differently. Captain Song Haye commanded the battleship UES Indomitable from her battle bridge deep inside the ship's armored core. Around her, dozens of crew members worked at their stations with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment for years, but none of them had expected their first real battle to be against an empire that enslaved peaceful species. All batteries. Target the lead Korthak ship, Song Hai ordered. Fire when ready. The Indomitable's main guns spoke with thunder that could be felt through the entire ship. Massive projectiles, each one the size of a small building, crossed the space between the fleets in seconds. The Korthak had expected energy weapons like most galactic species used. They were not prepared for solid metal traveling at incredible speed. The first projectile punched through the Bloodfang's shields like they were not there. The second tore a hole in its armor. The third projectile went completely through the ship and out the other side, leaving a tunnel of destruction in its wake. War Leader Vex picked himself up from the deck of his bridge as emergency lights flashed. Red around him. Half his crew was dead or injured. His ship was losing power and atmosphere. In 30 seconds, the humans had done more damage than any enemy had ever managed to do in 30 minutes. "Damage report!" Vex shouted. "Sir, we have hull breaches on 12 decks, main power is at 40%, and our primary weapons are offline," his tactical officer reported. "Sir, how are they hitting us so hard? Our shields should stop anything they can throw at us." Vex stared at the tactical display as more human projectiles slammed into his fleet. The humans were not using energy weapons that could be blocked by shields. They were throwing pieces of metal so fast and so hard that they went right through Korthak defenses like they were made of paper. But the real shock came when the human fighters arrived. Lieutenant Nam Jun led the first squadron of human fighters toward the Korthak fleet. His ship was small and fast, built for speed and maneuverability rather than heavy armor. Behind him flew 23 other pilots, all of them young, all of them ready to show the galaxy what human pilots could do. The Korthak fighters came out to meet them, and Nam Jun immediately saw why the Korthak had been so successful against other species. Their fighters were big and heavily armed, designed to overpower enemies through superior firepower. Against most galactic species, it probably worked very well. But humans had learned to fly by fighting each other in the skies, above Earth. Human pilots knew that speed and skill could beat size and power. "All fighters, scatter formation," Nam Jun ordered. "Don't let them group up on you. Hit and run, just like training." The human fighters spread out and attacked from 12 different directions at once. The Korthak pilots tried to form defensive groups, but the humans were too fast. They would dive in, fire a burst of weapons, and disappear before the Korthak could respond. It was like trying to fight a swarm of angry insects. Within 10 minutes, half the Korthak fighters were destroyed or disabled. The rest retreated back to their ships, leaving space around Valani Prime under human control. On the planet's surface, General Ryu Wan stood in the drop pod as it fell toward the surface like a meteor. Around him, 49 other human Marines checked their weapons and equipment. They were about to become the first human soldiers to fight in a ground war since joining the Galactic Council. The drop pods hit the surface near the largest Korthak base, with impacts that shook the ground for kilometers. The pods opened immediately, releasing human soldiers into the toxic atmosphere that the Korthak had created around their facilities. Most species would need breathing equipment and protection suits to fight in such conditions. Humans had evolved on a world where the air tried to kill them every day. This was nothing new. The Korthak ground forces had expected a slow, careful attack like other species would make. Instead, human Marines came out of their pods running, shooting, and advancing through conditions that should have slowed them down or stopped them completely. Korthak Warrior Captain Dex commanded the base, defense from his command bunker. His screens showed human soldiers moving through poison gas clouds that would kill most aliens in minutes. They fought in the burning wreckage of buildings without stopping. They climbed over obstacles that should have been impossible to cross. "Sir, the humans are not following standard attack patterns," his tactical officer reported. "They are advancing on all fronts simultaneously. They appear to be ignoring our defensive positions and attacking everything at once." Dex watched in amazement as human soldiers used explosives to blast through walls instead of going around them. They moved through the base like they owned it, clearing buildings with a speed and violence that broke Korthak morale. "All units, fall back to the secondary perimeter," Dex ordered. But when he looked at his tactical display, he realized the Humans had already surrounded the secondary perimeter as well. Coordinator Lila received the news through her plant network. The humans had landed in force and were freeing Villani prisoners from camps across the planet. But what amazed her most was how the humans fought. They did not destroy everything like most military species. They targeted Korthak forces and equipment, while protecting Villani civilians and infrastructure. In orbit, war leader Vex watched his fleet falling apart around him. 8 of his ships were destroyed or disabled. The humans had lost only one small destroyer, and even that ship was still, fighting with half its systems offline. "Sir, incoming message from the human admiral," his communications officer reported. Admiral Kim Tae's image appeared on the screen. Behind her, Vex could see the efficient activity of a human warship in combat. "War Leader Vex, your fleet is defeated and your ground forces are surrounded. Surrender now and your people will be treated according to galactic law. Continue fighting, and we will destroy every ship in your fleet." Vex looked around his bridge at the faces of his surviving crew. They were warriors who had conquered dozens of worlds, but they had never faced anything like this. The humans fought with a combination of advanced technology, tactical skill, and pure aggression that the Korthak could not match. "Human Admiral, we surrender," Vex said, the words bitter in his mouth. "Wise choice," Admiral Kim Tae replied. "Prepare to be boarded. Any attempt to harm prisoners or damage Villani property will result in the immediate destruction of your ship." As Korthak ships began powering down their weapons, Captain Lee Hyun smiled on the bridge of the Resilience. In less than 6 hours, the human fleet had liberated an entire world and defeated an empire that had been conquering systems for decades. The news of the Villani liberation spread across the galaxy faster than hyperspace travel could carry it. Within 3 days, every species in the Galactic Council knew that the humans had destroyed a Korthak siege fleet in 6 hours and freed 50 million prisoners without losing a single civilian life. The reaction was everything from amazement to terror. Ambassador No-Ji sat in her office at the Galactic Council headquarters on Centius Prime, reading message after message from species she had never heard from before. The Zephyrians were asking for protection from Korthak raids on their outer colonies. The gentle folk of Harmony wanted to know if humans would defend their meditation worlds. The Crystal Singers were offering to share their technology in exchange for human military support. Her assistant, a young human named Yu Min, brought her another stack of urgent communications. "Ambassador, we just received formal requests from 12 more species. They all want the same thing: protection from the Korthak Empire or other aggressive species." No-Ji rubbed her temples. "Yu Min, a week ago these same species would cross the corridor to avoid walking near a human diplomat. Now they want us to be their personal army. Ma'am, there's something else. The Galactic Council has called an emergency session. Counselor, Thren wants to discuss the human military threat and what happened at Villani Prime." No-Ji laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Of course he does. When the Korthak were enslaving peaceful species, the Council called for negotiations and trade sanctions. Now that humans actually stopped them, we're the threat." On Earth, Admiral Kim Tae stood in the Situation Room of Human Defense Corps headquarters, surrounded by screens showing the galactic political situation. Each screen told the same story. The balance of power in the galaxy had changed completely in 6 hours of combat. Captain An-Su, head of human intelligence, pointed to a map showing Korthak space. "Admiral, our agents report that the Korthak Empire is in chaos. Emperor Korthak Prime has recalled 15 fleets from conquest operations to defend core worlds. 3 subject species have declared independence, and more are considering it. What about their military response? Admiral Kim Tae asked. That's where it gets interesting, Admiral. They're not mobilizing for revenge attacks. Our intelligence suggests they're terrified of us. War Leader Vex's report to the Emperor described human weapons and tactics as beyond current galactic understanding. They think we have secret technology that makes us unbeatable. Fleet Admiral Park Seong, newly promoted to head the expanding human military, studied reports from across human space. Admiral Kim, the Liberation Fleet is requesting permission to establish permanent patrols in Volani space. They want to make sure the Korthak don't come back. Granted, Admiral Kim Tae replied immediately. What about crew morale after the battle? Excellent, Admiral. The crew is proud of what they accomplished. They liberated an entire world without becoming conquerors themselves. That's exactly the kind of war humans can believe in. On Volani Prime, Dr. Park Mina worked with Volani scientists in laboratories that had been Korthak weapons factories just days before. The Volani had immediately begun converting the facilities back to their original purpose, developing medicines and biological technologies that could heal instead of harm. Coordinator Lila joined Park Mina in the main laboratory, her bark-like skin now showing healthy green colors instead of the gray of stress and fear. Dr. Park, we cannot express our gratitude enough. Your people saved not just our lives, but our entire way of life. Coordinator, we're just glad we could help, Park Mina replied. But I have to ask, what will you do if the Korthak come back? Or if another aggressive species threatens you? Lila's large yellow eyes showed something that had not been there before the human intervention. Confidence. Dr. Park, we have learned something important. We do not need to become warriors ourselves to be safe. We need allies who understand that protecting the innocent is worth fighting for. We would like to formally request that Volani Prime becomes part of what your people are calling the Liberation Alliance. Park Mina smiled. I think that can be arranged. In the deepest levels of the Korthak Imperial Palace, Emperor Korthak Prime studied tactical reports with growing alarm. His military advisors stood around the war table like statues, afraid to speak first. Explain to me, the Emperor said in a voice like grinding stone, how 12 of our best warships were destroyed by a species we had never fought before. Explain how our ground forces, veterans of 50 conquest campaigns, were defeated in 6 hours by soldiers who had never seen real combat. War Leader Vex, now missing his left arm from the battle, spoke carefully. My Emperor, the humans fight unlike any species we have encountered. Their weapons penetrate our shields as if they do not exist. Their tactics rely on speed and aggression, rather than steady advance. Most importantly, they show no fear of death in combat. No fear of death? The Emperor's red eyes narrowed. That is impossible. All intelligent species fear death. My Emperor, I watched human soldiers advance through poison gas that would kill most species in minutes. I saw their fighters attack vessels 10 times their size without hesitation. These are not normal beings. The stories about Deathworlders are true. General Korthak Rex, the Emperor's chief military advisor, spread tactical displays across the war table. My Emperor, our analysis suggests that human military technology is not significantly more advanced than ours. The difference is in application. They use kinetic weapons instead of energy weapons, making their attacks difficult to defend against. More importantly, they coordinate their forces in ways we have never seen. What do you recommend? The Emperor asked. My Emperor, we cannot defeat the humans in direct combat with our current forces. However, we do not need to. They have shown they will only fight to protect other species, not to conquer territory. We should avoid attacking any species under human protection and focus our expansion in other directions. The Emperor was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. Send a message to all fleet commanders. No Korthak forces are to attack any world under human protection. We will expand into unoccupied systems only. The Deathworlders have made their position clear. At the Galactic Council emergency session, Councillor Thren of the Peaceful Unity Alliance called the meeting to order. Representatives from 200 species filled the Great Chamber, but the seat for the human delegation remained empty. Fellow beings of peace, Councillor Thren began. We are here to discuss the dangerous precedent set by human military action in the Vallani system. While we all sympathize with the Vallani situation, the humans responded with overwhelming violence that has destabilized our entire region. Councillor Yetta of the Compassionate Healers raised a tentacle. Councillor Thren, with respect, the humans saved 50 million innocent lives. Should we condemn them for succeeding where our negotiations failed? The issue is not their success, but their methods, Thren replied. The humans brought 47 warships to resolve a situation that should have been handled through diplomacy. They have shown a willingness to use force that threatens the peaceful nature of our galactic community. At that moment, the chamber doors opened, and Ambassador No-Ji entered with Director Yu-Min. They walked calmly to the human delegation area, while 200 species watched in silence. Ambassador No-Ji, Councillor Thren said formally, the Council recognizes the human delegation. No-Ji stood and looked around the chamber at faces that showed fear, admiration, suspicion, and hope in equal measure. Honored councillors, the humans appreciate this opportunity to address the galactic community. We have a simple message for everyone here. She paused, letting silence fill the great chamber. The humans will respond to any request for protection, from peaceful species threatened by aggressive expansion. We will use whatever force is necessary to protect innocent lives. We will not conquer, we will not occupy, and we will not interfere with the internal affairs of any species. But we will not stand by while peaceful worlds are enslaved or destroyed. Councillor Thren's skin changed colors rapidly, showing agitation. Ambassador, you cannot simply declare yourselves the military protectors of the galaxy. There are laws, procedures, diplomatic solutions. Councillor, No-Ji interrupted gently. How many diplomatic solutions saved the Vallani? How many laws protected the species the Korthak enslaved before we stopped them? The humans tried diplomacy for 50 years. Now we are trying something that actually works. The chamber erupted in dozens of conversations in different languages. Some species argued for censuring the humans. Others demanded immediate protection agreements. A few suggested that human military intervention should become official galactic policy. Director Yu-Min leaned close to Ambassador No-Ji. Ma'am, what happens now? No-Ji smiled as she watched the chaos in the chamber. Now Yu-Min, the galaxy, learns that there are species willing to fight for peace, not just talk about it. The humans just became the guardians of galactic civilization, whether the Council likes it or not. As the emergency session continued into the night, one thing became clear to everyone present. The galaxy had changed. The age of talking, while innocence died, was ending. The age of human protection was beginning, and every peaceful species in the galaxy was starting to understand what that meant. 6 months after the liberation of Vallani Prime, the galaxy looked completely different. Captain Li Hyun stood on the bridge of his new command, the UES Unity, watching a mixed fleet of human and alien ships conduct joint training exercises in the Harmony system. The Unity itself was a symbol of how much had changed. A human-designed ship equipped with Volani biological healing systems, Zephyrian energy shields, and Crystal Singer communication arrays. Captain, incoming transmission. From Fleet Admiral Park Seung, reported Lieutenant Choi Bin, now promoted and serving as the Unity's communications officer. Around him, crew members from 6 different species worked together with an efficiency that would have been impossible just months before. Fleet Admiral Park Seung's image appeared on the main screen. Behind her, the massive command center of the new Galactic Defense Force showed the scope of what the Liberation Alliance had become. Captain Lee, we're ready to proceed with Operation Titan's Gate. Your mixed fleet will hold the outer system while the main force engages the Korthak. Grand Fleet. Understood, Admiral, Lee Hyun replied. The Unity and our allies are ready. The Korthak Empire had spent 6 months rebuilding and preparing for one final assault against human space. Emperor Korthak Prime had decided that the Deathworlders needed to be destroyed before they could destroy the Korthak way of life completely. He had assembled every ship in the Empire, over 300 vessels, for what he called the final war. But the Emperor had made one critical mistake. He still thought he was fighting just the humans. In the command center of the UES Indomitable, Admiral Kim Tae studied tactical displays showing the largest space battle in galactic history about to begin. Around her, officers from 23 different species coordinated the defense of 12 star systems. Director Yu Min, now head of the Human-Alien Cooperation Council, stood beside the Admiral. Admiral, the political implications of this battle cannot be overstated. If we win decisively, the Liberation Alliance becomes the dominant force in the galaxy. If we lose, we won't lose, Admiral Kim Tae said simply. The Korthak are still fighting the war they understand. Big fleets, heavy weapons, slow tactics. We're fighting the war we invented. Coordination, speed, and overwhelming force applied exactly where it's needed. On the Korthak flagship Eternal Dominion, Emperor Korthak Prime himself had come to command the final battle. His massive form, covered in ceremonial armor, dominated the bridge as he studied displays showing the human defensive positions. War Leader. Vex, explain our tactical advantage, the Emperor commanded. Vex, now wearing advanced prosthetics where he had lost limbs in the Volani battle, pointed to the tactical display. My Emperor, we outnumber the human fleet 3-1. Even accounting for their superior individual ship capabilities, sheer numbers should overwhelm them. And you are certain the other galactic species will not intervene? My Emperor, our intelligence suggests that most species fear human military power as much as they fear us. They will remain neutral and accept whoever wins this battle as the new galactic authority. The Emperor's laugh was like the sound of grinding metal. Then today, we restore Korthak dominance to the galaxy. But as the Korthak Grand Fleet moved toward the Titan's Gate system, they encountered something unprecedented in galactic warfare. The humans were not alone. Commander O. Yuna, now leading the Elite Special Operations Division, coordinated strike teams from a dozen species. Zephyrian stealth ships, Crystal Singer sensor networks, and Volani biological computers worked together under human tactical leadership to create an intelligence and sabotage network that the Korthak could not detect. Admiral Kim Tae, all infiltration. Teams are in position, Oyuna reported. The Korthak have no idea that we've been inside their formation for the past 6 hours. Lieutenant Namjoon, now Captain Namjoon and commander of the integrated fighter wings, led a force that would have amazed the galaxy if they could see it. Human fighters flew in perfect coordination, with gentlefolk meditation ships that could predict enemy movements, crystal singer craft that could communicate instantly across vast distances, and even modified Korthak fighters flown by defectors, who had joined the Liberation Alliance. As the battle began, Emperor Korthak Prime quickly realized that his intelligence had been completely wrong. The humans were not fighting alone, and this was not the same kind of battle the Korthak had fought for centuries. The first wave of Korthak ships encountered what appeared to be a standard human defensive line, but when they opened fire, crystal Singer deflector fields redirected their shots while Zephyrian jamming systems confused their targeting computers. Human kinetic weapons, guided by Vellani biological computers that could calculate thousands of trajectories simultaneously, struck with impossible accuracy. "What is happening?" the Emperor roared as his first assault wave was destroyed in minutes. "How are they coordinating so many different technologies?" War Leader Vex studied the tactical displays with growing alarm. "My Emperor, the humans have not just formed an alliance, they have created something new, a military force that combines the best capabilities of every member species under human tactical doctrine." The second phase of the battle showed the true genius of human military leadership. While the Korthak expected the humans to defend static positions, Captain Lee Hyun's mixed fleet struck from an unexpected direction. The Unity led Vellani Hospital, ships that healed damaged human vessels in real time, allowing them to continue fighting long after they should have been destroyed. Chief Engineer Bae Soo, now Director of Integrated Technology Development, watched his hybrid systems perform beyond all expectations. Human weapons powered by Crystal Singer energy sources, Vellani repair systems guided by human tactical computers, and Zephyrian shield generators coordinated by human command networks created capabilities that no single species could achieve alone. The battle reached its climax when Emperor Korthak Prime ordered a direct assault on Admiral Kim Tae's flagship. 200 remaining Korthak ships concentrated their fire on the Indomitable in an attempt to break human command and control. But the Indomitable was no longer just a human ship, protected by shields from 4 different species, healed by Vellani biological systems, and defended by fighters from across the galaxy. It became a symbol of what the Liberation Alliance had achieved. "All ships, this is Admiral Kim Tae." Her voice carried across the entire fleet. "The Korthak Empire ends today. Show them what the galaxy looks like when peaceful species refuse to be victims." The final assault was not a battle, but a demonstration. 300 Korthak ships found themselves surrounded by a combined fleet that fought with perfect coordination and overwhelming technological superiority. Human tactics, enhanced by alien technologies and supported by species who had found courage through human protection, proved unstoppable. Emperor Korthak Prime watched his empire die around him as ship after ship was destroyed or surrendered. Finally, alone on his bridge with his flagship taking fire from 12 different directions, he opened a communication channel. "Human Admiral, The Korthak Empire surrenders. We yield to the Liberation Alliance." Admiral Kim Tae's response was broadcast across the galaxy. "Emperor, the Liberation Alliance does not seek surrender. We seek peace. Withdraw your forces from all occupied systems. Release all enslaved populations. Join the galactic community as a peaceful member, or remain isolated in your own space. The choice is yours, but the age of Korthak expansion is over." In the months that followed the Battle of Titan's Gate, the galaxy transformed completely. The Liberation Alliance grew to include 47 species, all protected by human military might, but governed by their own laws and customs. The Galactic Council was reformed as the Galactic Community, with humans holding permanent seats on all military and security committees. Captain Lee Hyun, now Admiral Lee Hyun, and commander of the Exploration and Contact Division, stood on the Bridge of the Unity as it received another distress call. This one came from the far edge of the galaxy, from a species facing threats they could not handle alone. "Dr. Park, decode that signal and prepare a response," Lee Hyun ordered. Dr. Park Mina, now Director of Alien Relations, smiled as she began working. "What should we tell them, Admiral?" she asked. Lee Hyun looked out at the stars, knowing that, somewhere out there, innocent people were calling for help. The same help that the Villani had called for, that had started everything. "Tell them what we told the Villani 6 months ago," he said. "Tell them that help is coming. Tell them the humans are coming." The Unity and its escort fleet began moving toward the distress signal, carrying with them the promise that had transformed the galaxy. When peaceful species called for help, the humans would answer, not as conquerors, but as protectors, not as overlords, but as guardians who understood that the strong had a responsibility to defend the weak. The age of fear was ending. The age of protection had begun. And across the galaxy, species that had lived in terror for generations could finally sleep peacefully, knowing that the Deathworlders were watching over them. In the end, the humans had found their place in galactic civilization, not as the dangerous outsiders everyone had feared, but as the guardians everyone needed. And the galaxy was safer because of it.